Okay, welcome everyone. Today we're doing something a little different. I'm B Natural.
I'm better.
Mustard.
We're gonna play a fun game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Strug grew like 8 feet.
Yeah, that's why he's so far away, even though he's sitting down. He's actually lying down, but his face is just that far off the ground from his chin. I'm gonna be the dungeon master, and I'm gonna read you guys some situations. And then you're gonna make some choices.
Can we talk about this cover first or no?
Whoever makes the most good choices wins the game of Dungeons and Dragons. This is how Dungeons and Dragons works, okay?
Yeah.
So the cover of this game...
Do I have to roll for initiative?
It says... Yeah, do you want to do that?
Yeah, summon me to 20D.
No, just continue.
Oh, we're not doing that.
Okay, it says Animorphs.
You are the 6th Animorph.
Are you ready? So apparently, right away, it appears this book will be set in the Helmicron book because Tobias is the same size as the other characters.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Why does Tobias look so big?
And then there's a purple lump that's you.
Yeah, this is interesting. Now, at first, I participated in r/place 2020. What year was that? Last year?
Oh, let's turn the humidifier on.
So, I see this cover, and I'm like, why is it made out of a little Among Us's the entire thing?
It is.
But I realized it's the Animorphs A logo.
And I just noticed it says "Join Us."
Yeah.
It's like hidden, which is kind of cool.
So I'm gonna say
there's a lion here, so I bet a lion's gonna be super important to the story.
Right off the back, this book is more intriguing, like story wise than I was expecting, just based on the cover. Because none of us have read this yet. We're gonna read it out loud, I guess, and record that. If it doesn't go well, we're not gonna include that in the episode. But
yeah,
we'll try it out.
Maybe I was thinking when you guys make the choices, you guys could read the chapter of your own choice, which is usually 1 page.
Oh, and if in case people didn't figure out from context, this is a Choose Your Own Adventure Animorphs book.
Introduction. Okay, listen up. It's Jake. You probably already know what's going on around here. But, just in case you don't, here's the deal. Rachel, Tobias, Cassie, Marco, Axe, and I are 5 kids and 1 alien out to save the world. No, this isn't a joke. It's real.
Is this how you read in your head every time when Jake's narrating?
I don't know. About as real as you can get.
I feel like
I'll probably lose this energy as we go. So enjoy it now. Chapter 1. Chapter 2.
So we're going to do this chapter by chapter and then quick summarize what happened and then discuss it, I guess. So far this is just exactly book 1 except a new character. Elfango came by and this is confirmed that this is in fact a different universe because this kid also got the powers and the animals interacting with him.
They just didn't mention it.
He was really boring.
He was actually... maybe what happened...
This is Jim. He was just really boring. We just never felt the need to bring him up.
Everything he did was inconsequential.
I have a theory now.
The rule of writing, you leave out anything. Sorry, Jim. You just didn't make the cut.
So, the Animorphs, by the end of their adventure, when they sat down to write all these books, he got really petty and just really hated... Is he named yet? Do we know his name?
I like to call him Jim.
He really hated...
It's you.
Did someone say Jim already?
You're not established to be male. You could be a girl.
They really hated this person, this Jim...
His name is Jim.
Creature.
He's purple.
They...
Yeah, Marco calls them another alien.
Okay, yeah, they are purple and they have no face, just like on the cover.
Oh yeah, that was confusing first.
They're naked
anyway,
and purple.
So maybe the Animorphs, they grew to really hate this person, through the adventure, and man, screw that guy, just don't mention him in any other books, just pretend he wasn't there. And then this is this Jim's perspective, the true story of what really happened. Why is this going to be just entirely the first book? Because that's very lazy. I was excited for a new story for a Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Yeah, I'm disappointed by the fact that this chapter literally just wanted to recount what happened at the beginning of chapter 1.
It's kind of cool how...
I wish they had come up with a unique story that's more similar to the David arc.
I didn't even think about... You know what? Knowing this book kind of, not by heart, but knowing this book for so long, it didn't even occur to me that they could have made a whole new story. It would be cool if this was a canon story in the Animorphs universe.
Yeah, that's
was and it was just
Animorphs I saw the second one's called the Second Passage or something. That's just gonna be a retelling of book 2, but there's some.
They were planning to do an Alternamorphs for every single Animorphs book.
Man,
you can only morph for 2 hours, and also sometimes you're just allergic to alligators. You gotta watch out for that. You should have said that.
See, Alfangor didn't have time to say all this stuff. He was about to die.
Anyway, I want to say theory I have so far is we just had a book involving time travels and different timelines and stuff. Maybe this is related.
Since John Barrowman didn't exist, this character now exists.
Well, I don't think this is canon, but I think maybe they'll be implying some kind of like multiverse thing. Where it's like, oh yeah, here's what happens in like a different timeline or something. Now that time travel like exists in these books.
When is the fighting game, the Smash like multiverses, but with Animorphs, going to be released?
And the two universes are like the universe where John Barrowman exists, the universe where you, Jim, exists, the universe
where they're all racist. Yeah.
Jake versus racist Jake.
Bad idea. I mean, it makes sense that this just wouldn't be a canon book because, like, it is a choose your own adventure. So I would assume there's multiple endings. So, like, no matter what, the entire book wouldn't.
What
be
I
canon.
assumed was that you would just play as one of the characters, like Cassie or whatever, and it would just be told from their point of view.
Yeah, but no, we'll just. Yeah, this is so
Especially
weird.
if there was like 6 Alternamorphs, so you could play.
This is crazy. Like, I can't imagine this book being anything but this.
Like, honestly, as far as like ghost-written books go, so far it's not bad, and I like that. I kind of like that it's a new character because then I don't have like something to compare it to. Like, oh, it's a much worse writing for Rachel than Capelgate does. Yeah. But like, that's so lazy to just steal the story.
For Jim we've ever seen.
I hope the story goes a different direction. That's all I'll say. I kind of hope it's not just the entirety of book 1, but if it is, then I can just like tune out it easily, I guess, and not pay that much attention.
I mean, that's why I've been reading pretty fast so far.
Anyway, let's move on to chapter 3 and discuss that one.
Chapter
down,
3.
I guess.
You wake up.
There have been no choices yet.
Chapter 3. You wake up the next morning feeling groggy. It was a dream, of course.
What?
The end.
Okay.
That's the end of the book. The rest of the pages are just blank. No. A totally freaky dream that felt totally real. Okay, so several things. So I guess summary.
He woke up and was like, oh, that was just a bad dream. And then he goes to his kitchen and his mom's like, it's your sister's birthday. I'm going to order a cake. And Melvin's like, what? Dude, maybe this is Melvin!
This is Melvin!
He's finally meeting Melvin!
We should call this person Melvin.
This is definitely Melvin now.
It's definitely Melvin.
From Animorphs 1, Book 10.
Lexi's the Joker!
Anyway, so Melvin is like, Mom never buys cakes. What if she's a controller? Melvin, that's how controllers work. They know all your memories.
This ghostwriter doesn't know that.
He's very suspicious of his mom. And then Marco just walks into his kitchen like,
well,
hey,
it says,
man.
we just did a whole book without you, basically. They just did a whole bunch of stuff without Melvin. Which is fine, I guess. It's better than repeating it.
Oh, is that what they said? I didn't...
Yeah, Melvin's been snoozing.
What?
Melvin's been snoozing.
He didn't. Okay, he didn't say a whole book happened. He said Cassie morphed into a horse. So that happened
he just
after the
listed
first
a bunch
book?
of events that happened in book 1 off screen.
Okay. So he's gonna go to his sister's party undercover and has 3 choices for some reason. Now I'm leaning toward your weird next door neighbor's pet ferret. Why is that one so detailed compared to the other ones?
Okay, place your
I'll
bets.
probably go for fly because it seems handy to have a fly more.
I think pet hamster seems like the safest thing. Like if it's going to be at the party, I guess he couldn't really spy as a pet hamster.
You're kind of boring. You go with hamster.
What is his goal here?
Well, I actually snooped ahead and I know what the correct answer is.
But don't do that.
Why did you do that?
Oh, wait, how did you do that? You don't even have a laptop.
I did that like 5 hours ago.
Why would you
Why
do
were
this?
you reading this?
So I just wanted to see if the links worked.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess Stir will sit this one. Is this the only one you did that for?
Yeah.
Well, Stir will sit this one out, I guess.
Okay.
I guess I'll do hamster, and we'll just go in order of the list. So, Batter, you go to fly.
How's this going to work?
Batter will read the fly chapter.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And then after that chapter is over, I'll go back to reading. But after that chapter is over, we'll check out the other choices, and then I'll go back to reading. Don't worry, I know.
So we're doing all the choices?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we've been getting through it pretty fast so far. So.
Yeah, we're already like 20% done.
Yeah, fine.
Alright, chapter 4. Zap, you hit a bug zapper. You're fried. Bad morph, go back and try again.
Ah, Batter! How could you be so stupid, Batter? A fly is a bad morph. The Animorphs would never use a fly
to spy on humans.
No, that's dumb. They never
before.
do that. They use hamster or weird neighbor's pet ferret every time.
So he morphed into a fly and he died from a bug zapper.
This was clearly
Melvin's kind of lame.
just a bunch of. This was clearly not a bad morph. This was a series of very bad decisions after you made the choice.
Yeah, he's clearly.
It's not your
Melvin's clearly the problem.
So
here.
this isn't really choose your own adventure. This is like direct a very stupid character through very limited decisions on your part.
I was thinking, like, I don't know if a fly would be a good morph for a new animal, because I feel like the animals, like, stuck to mammals or, like, lizards for, like,
That's
a
true.
while.
Alright, so I guess I'll do hamster.
Yeah, hamster seems like the best
I
choice.
guess we won't award points for this round just because Stir messed it up. Chapter 5. Your hamster heart beats furiously. You're scared. You're scared of everything. Everything.
Wait, he's not going to acquire it? The first one it showed him... Hang on. There was a scene of him like acquiring the
hamster
fly.
is his sister's pet hamster. He can easily acquire that.
Yeah, but it's
doesn't
just...
have to do anything.
Just, so the hamster choice is just getting straight to him being a hamster? It's not going to like have a morphing scene? They love morphing scenes.
It's basically... Melvin already looks like a hamster. It's basically the same.
Oh, you're right.
A meeting? Could it be the sharing? Has Marco even explained the sharing?
Wait,
Melvin
definitely does not know about the sharing at this point.
You take a few cautious steps
I
out
mean, they
from your
skipped his
burrow.
morphing. Maybe they skipped explaining what the sharing was.
It sounds lovely, Mom says, surprised. The ferret lady has never issued an invitation before. All she does is complain about noise. You creep forward another few inches, straining to hear. You should have picked an animal with better hearing, idiot! It's called, Miss Humphreys begins, but before she can finish, dirt flies and a paw suddenly swipes out. How could you have forgotten that when you see Miss Humphreys, her cat Gingerbread is never far behind?
Seriously?
Swipe, claw, chomp, your dessert. Bad
No.
choice, idiot. Why do you think hamsters stay in cages, you f***ing ass? Try again.
Wait, why?
I don't have the book in front of me, so I don't. I just have to guess what was added
I read it
and what
verbatim.
wasn't.
I think it was only the ending which he swore.
No, why do you think hamsters stay in cages is there?
So
So hamsters, as an animal, are just like completely not allowed outside of cages by the laws of nature. Okay?
yeah, so chapter 5, he morphed into an hamster and got eaten by a cat. That's pretty much it.
Hamsters were
that you,
like
how
the
could you have
regular-
forgotten that when you see Miss Humphreys? How could you have forgotten? Who chose this? Nobody. How could I have forgotten?
I think I would have chosen it if I was trying to think of what was most likely, like what I would do if I was him. I think I would have been the hamster.
This wasn't a
Not,
series
I'm
of.
not trying to like meta game or anything. You know, I think I
Yeah.
would have went the hamster.
So they say the sharing. They just bring up the sharing like they know what that is. This book is like would be incomprehensible to somebody who hasn't read any Animorphs books before.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Oh wait, is that really
No,
the first time they
tried.
said sharing in the book? Oops, I just opened.
Yes.
I don't think Marco I don't know how Melvin knows what the sharing is. Like I don't think Marco explained that to him. But so like as if you're this is your first
Marco
book.
mentioned the sharing. He said Tom, who he thinks is a controller, mentioned it,
Oh.
but he didn't
Okay.
say what it was.
Okay then. This book is perfect.
This book has had a lot of
do-
typos in it
Do
so far.
flies eat spiders?
Yeah, that's weird. Like, why would a fly want to go to a spider?
Wait, you said a fly wanted to eat a spider, not the
Yes.
opposite?
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, the reason the fly went towards the spider web was because the fly saw the spider and thought it looked juicy.
It's really weird.
Flies aren't even.
Spider, you want
are flies
to eat
even
it,
carnivores?
What the heck is wrong with this kid? He thinks, as a fly, I didn't even notice that. That was last time. He wanted to eat a
Melvin
spider?
is a special kid.
Since when do flies eat spiders? It's the opposite. They make up this hamster like he wanted to eat the cat.
Don't flies just like slug food?
Yeah, they like.
Yeah, I don't know
melt
how
the
they would eat a
food
spider.
And then.
Melvin, just like in the last Melvin book, Animorph 1, Melvin's not very smart.
Melvin only decided he wanted to be a science boy like a few weeks ago. He's still picking it up, okay?
I hope that I'm not wrong about flies not eating spiders. So, like, if someone wants to Google that, I'm not going to do it. But
I mean, of course, if you Google
that's
just
definitely
flies,
not the general consensus about
absolutely
flies
not.
and spiders.
robber flies, like flies. If you search to do flies eat spiders, you get like flies that eat spiders. So, like like some flies, but like I don't think house flies do.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Horse flies.
I mean, Melvin did like try to grab flies for like 20 minutes before finally deciding to put out sugar water, so I guess this is a very consistent character trait for him.
All right, Mustard. Let's see if your thing works, or if there's
Wait,
like.
first I just want to say, this book has had typos in it so far. It said, like, had instead of heard or something. There was, like, I forget.
Good new instead
Herring.
It
of
said
Instead
good
of
new
hearing.
instead of good new. Now, I've seen, like, there's been, like, in the last book, there was a few typos that seemed like it was just, like, PDF transferring issues that were
I
not
don't know how
individual
PDF transferring
book.
issues work. So
Well,
I
I'm
guess
assuming
it
that the PDF automatically scans the pages and automatically determines what letters are. So if there's like an N, an M, it might look like an N in a R or something.
Oh, okay.
But like just for leaving the S out of news, and also there's a part where like a different character talked and it didn't switch to a new paragraph. So like two characters talked in the same paragraph, which I believe is not correct. Unless this book was in a very difficult to read font compared to all the other books, I assume Melvin is not good at writing once again.
It's very consistent from the author.
Did this still have the little funny pictures in the corner, Be Natural?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, maybe I feel like I should maybe explain that for anyone who just skipped the Melvin episode or something. or just
No, it's funny
is
if we
starting
don't
on this one. For book 10, it was April Fool's Day, and we read Animorph 1, which was like an Animorphs like rip-off book, Animorphs. And it starred Melvin, and that book sucked, but we had fun. MD Spencer follows me on Twitter, the author, and he has sent me some strange messages.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me like a link that seemed like a virus scam website. I wasn't sure.
I like looked up.
So maybe he got hacked, and then he just messaged me like, "Hello," and hang on, let me check.
Books.
He said like, didn't he say like Animorphs or something? Okay, on March 12th, he messaged me an Animorphs Book Club podcast, and then like a scam link, and then I said what, and then on April 28th, 2 months later, he said hello, and then like 2 more months later, he said, "Glad you like my books."
Suspicious.
Did he like listen to our episode or something? I mean, it didn't seem like we liked it. I don't.
Yeah.
He probably has some like fishy program that like looks for anything that like has ever had Humanimorphs or Airmorph 1 in the title, and then like sends them.
I mean, I followed him on Twitter, so maybe he just assumes I like his books based on that.
What does he post on?
But his Twitter's mostly focused on like his podcast and his journalism. I feel like there's not much of like his book on
That's
it.
interesting.
Anyway, shout out to MD Spencer. I enjoyed reading his
What a
his
mad
one
lad.
book that I read. I hope his Twitter didn't get hacked and is sending scam links.
Definitely. Well, you hope that he's a bad person.
Actually, I guess I would
Yeah,
I hope that this
Hope
scam-looking link
up,
was just actually a
whatever it is.
normal link that happened to be the same website as
It's
the scam
exactly
link.
scam. Okay. Why don't you go click it, Mustard? Then
I don't want
you're
to.
so confident that MD.
The link was
Spencer-
like l.instagram or i.instagram.
Yeah. Well, I looked it up, and it's like a very specific.
And it was like /AABC podcast.
Well, yeah, because they'll make. Yeah, this is exactly how the scam works.
Well, this is why I didn't click it. I know, but I'm just saying.
Read chapter
I don't
6.
know for a fact that it was a scam link. Oh, I have to read chapter 6?
Yeah.
So chapter 6, this is what happens when he wants to morph into his weird friend's ferret or something.
Weird neighbor's ferret.
You've always liked ferrets, and it's pretty cool being one. You can't see very well, but your hearing is quite excellent. Oh, you see? It said, you idiot, you should have picked something with better hearing because you're spying and listening.
Wow.
How much are you even supposed to know about these dang animals anyway?
You have to have.
I mean, as far
you
as
have
I
to
know,
be a zoologist.
You have to know that flies eat
Similar
spiders.
hearing to me. I don't know that much about ferrets.
You have to be.
I
a
feel like the author's
zoologist
just
to
making
decode
up crap about
Alternamorphs.
animals for no reason.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like it.
Okay, anyway. She looks at the ice cream cake in her hand and shrugs. She dumps it into the kitchen trash. Empty calories, she mutters. Not necessary. Is that a controller thing to say, or is the ferret lady even weirder than you thought? Jake is going to morph into his dog, Homer. Dogs and cats and ferrets, you say, suddenly feeling hopeless. What a bunch of phoebe morphs.
What?
How are we going to fight visibly with those? Something fierce flashes in Rachel's eyes. You glimpse something you've never seen in pretty popular Rachel. Okay, the girl is a warrior. You've got a point, Rachel says.
Alright, congrats, Mustard. You win this round. You
Okay,
get a point.
let's. There's a lot to discuss about this chapter.
Yeah.
So,
But I guess we're not getting points this round. Sorry, guys.
so he gets a ferret morph from his weird friend's mom or whatever.
His mom's
Neighbor.
neighbor.
She's a ferret lady.
This
She
is
has
Feeny from Garfield.
She has 3 ferrets. So he morphs one of the ferrets and then hides under the couch, and he hears this ferret lady say, "Oh yes, this host is very bad or something. I don't know. She's a controller. You know, you can.
She
just
says
sit
lots
still."
of very controllery stuff.
Yeah, and then she's about to leave. He's like, "Oh, I can get it in the open door." But then she's like, "Oh wait, I can't go yet. This is a ferret lady. She always has a ferret with her." So she picks up Melvin and puts her in a bag and zips it up. And then they go to the sharing, and Cassie's there, and he thought speaks, "Cassie, come help me."
This is way too detailed of a summary.
Anyway, Cassie picks him up, and takes Melvin somewhere private, and he morphs back to human.
Yep.
So, one thing I was thinking about while reading this, because it was established earlier that controllers just act totally weird when they're not around people who aren't controllers. But I was thinking, like, aren't the Yeerks still, like, excited about, like, experiencing the world through something that actually has senses? Like,
Oh yeah, Yeerks just hate eating. Yeerks just hate senses, dude. They don't even like. I don't like ice cream cake. They're only concerned with the health of their hosts.
right, like, if I was a Yeerk, I would totally love eating ice cream cake.
This is something that previous books have, like, made sure to establish. Like, I guess not specifically taste, but, like, they definitely... Yeerks love senses.
Wait, didn't
sensory
But I'm
experiences.
saying, but
This
it
is not unique to this
established in,
book,
like,
though.
book 2
Yeah.
or something, that this is what Chapman and his wife do.
Does book 2 say that Chapman and his wife cook really bland food?
No, but it says that they just sit still
just
for
sit
hours.
still on the couch and stare straight ahead.
Well, that's just a weird Yeerk. I don't know, like, that's different to me. Like, that's a separate thing from, like, not eating ice cream cake because it's empty calories.
Yeah, so this book's not good so far. That's my opinion.
Why was this the right choice? Because of circumstances that you could not have predicted.
I mean, that's always how choose your own adventure books are, aren't they?
No.
Not really.
First of all, I don't think most choose your own adventure books just have you die instantly if you choose any choice other than the one that the author likes. Like, I think most of them are supposed to have branching stories. That's what makes them interesting.
Yeah.
This is just, like, a shorter story that has, like, some, like, little snippets at the end of it.
I read an actual choose your own adventure book because, like, the whole genre is based off of this one series that was actually called Choose Your Own Adventure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't know that.
And there is this long path.
How would I know that?
There's, like, 5 different choices that I could make, and it was, like, asking me, like, if I was sure that I wanted to go down this one path. And, like,
Undertale
it gave me a lot of
route.
options of changing my mind and doing something else. And then after, like, 5 different things, like, it finally killed me off.
Nice.
And, like, it progressed in, like, shorter segments of a story in that
Undertale
time.
genocide route. That's pretty cool, I think. Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Certainly compared to this.
He says, what a bunch of morphs.
Yeah, did he mean to say feeble?
I don't know. I think
Maybe-
feeb's like
I
a
think
fun
it's-
slang
I think
term,
it's-
maybe.
Possible that it's a
Sounds
fun
like a
way
slur.
of shortening the word feeble.
We've mentioned...
Yeah, Feebmorphs is in the book. Search up Feebmorphs. You get
We've mentioned, like, feeblings before, right?
like Meeblings.
Meeblings and feeblings.
I don't know.
Feeblings are one?
Those
Feeblings are the ones that
regular
can't do
ones that
anything.
Aw,
Yeah. Feeblings, I love
Feeblings.
Meeblings. Meeblings is a great game.
Alright.
Anyway,
I have that game.
continuing to Chapter 7, I guess.
Wait, so you just acquired a giraffe and a hyena,
Yep.
and it didn't ask you what animal you wanted to pick, it just made you do it real fast.
Well, you didn't morph it yet.
What's
Marco
the point
acquired
of
a
that?
gorilla really easily. Yeah, these books really rely on you having just read the previous book already.
I'd be
like, in
so
order to
disappointed if this was the first Animorphs book and they just, like, brushed past, like, all of the plot things.
Like, it's weird. It's weird because it's like this, unlike Megamorphs 3 or whatever, like, this book has 1 in the title, so I think you'd be forgiven for thinking that, like, it's just a series called Alternamorphs, which you can read, and it's an alternative to Animorphs if you want.
Right.
Well, yeah, most books kind of are written so that you don't have to read the other ones.
It's weird that of all the books that are written like that, this one isn't really.
It was a dumb idea for a premise, and it's not being executed very well either.
By the premise, you mean retelling book 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. I think the idea of, like, an Animorphs Choose Your Own Adventure isn't bad.
Yeah, it's just poorly executed.
Chapter 8.
Okay, so...
Morph the dog.
Wait, let's
I'm
summarize...
not picking the giraffe.
Let's summarize this first.
It's a very funny choice.
So Melvin he like in book 1, they go to the
Wait,
gardens
what are the
to get
choices?
morphs. Oh, important detail though.
What are the choices?
Hyena,
choices are
a
hyena-
canine, police dog, and a giraffe.
Yeah.
3 choices.
It says Rachel has taken your complaint about Feebmorphs and will run with it. The plan is to collect wild creature morphs at the
I'm
gardens.
sorry, is your summary just reading the
Lester,
chapter
yeah,
again?
your
This is not a summary, this is a note!
Wait, did you read the chapter? Did you summarize yet?
Well, this is a note about the previous chapter, which we didn't summarize.
Okay.
So in this universe, it was all Melvin's idea for them to get stronger animals. That's the only reason why they aren't fighting physically
Because
as
he called them
ferrets.
more as ferrets, yeah.
So Melvin's at the thing, and then he acquires some stuff, and then there's a policeman with some dogs who's like, "You're sneaking in here, bad kid."
And he just has to get it out because he has to meet up with the Animorphs in a few hours. Dude, I feel like your best bet is just to wait this out. Like, come on.
Yeah, why would he morph in front of the police to get out? That's
They
weird.
conveniently turned their backs to him.
Do they? Is that
Yeah,
They walked away,
they leave
leaving
him
him
alone
with
with
the
the
dogs.
dogs.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick giraffe.
Okay, I want to go hyena.
Definitely not picking canine police dog.
I'm picking dog.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
batter first.
Okay, chapter 9.
Okay, Melvin.
You couldn't control the hyena instinct in time. Bad morph.
Yeah,
Melvin.
batter, why couldn't you control the hyena instinct in time?
Melvin went
Why did you
freaking
want to
insane.
eat the baby?
Melvin morphed hyena, attempted to murder a little girl, and then got like tranquilized, and now he's stuck in a hyena morph when he wakes up.
Yeah.
Bad ending. I can't believe he was about to kill that little girl. That would go crazy.
Then this book didn't have the balls to actually...
Yeah, I was expecting to be like, you murdered a little girl.
after
How
the-
dare
after
you?
the
Bad
last
morph.
book-
Go back.
Bad morph, bad!
Okay, let's try.
Police dog.
Let's try the
Stir.
canine dog now, I guess.
Good morph choice. You deserve to proceed.
Good job, Stir. You deserve it.
Okay, Stu, can you summarize this chapter?
So he morphs one of the canines.
He turns into a cop.
A cop
Which is in line with his president. Wanting to be a president in the previous.
Don't cop dogs usually wear like
I was gonna,
uniforms?
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
I was
say.
thinking-
Don't they have little vests on?
I was
Yeah.
thinking that too, yeah.
They're not just like naked. They
Also,
certainly at least
he wouldn't
have
even
collars.
have a collar or anything.
I found it was weird that it was like, and you're not just a dog, you're a cop. Like,
Wait,
I'm sorry,
summarize-
does he have
summarize the-
cop DNA?
Yeah, he has
Yeah.
cop DNA. Stu, summarize the chapter.
He morphs into a dog, and then the cops are like, hey, we gotta get this kid because Register 3 said that there's suspicious kids talking about infiltrating the sharing. So then he's like, oh no, the cops are going to try to find where I live. And then he is one of the dogs, and the cops are like, we'll just leave this one off the leash. I guess we forgot to leash it, and also forgot that we loaded a third dog.
That's my favorite part. When they're just like, oh, wasn't there 2 dogs? Oh, I must have forgot that I loaded a third dog.
And then Melvin leads the dogs astray and rubs his scent on everything, so they don't know where he lives.
Well, yeah, after he gets home. Oh, no, he goes to the fair lady's house, and she's like, what? Visit 3 could ask me himself, and I said, that description you given me sounds like every other boy and every kid in this
Pretty dang
neighborhood.
lucky, yeah.
Pretty lucky, yeah.
That sounds like every kid in this neighborhood. Especially considering she's literally your next door neighbor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. She wouldn't maybe
I
my
mean, they
neighbor,
even say
I
his
don't
name
know.
is Melvin, but she shakes her head and says everyone in this town is named Melvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I forgot about that detail.
That was a really funny detail in Animorphs.
All right, Mustard, do you want to see if Giraffe Morph also works?
Yeah, I better go see what happened with the giraffe morph. You know, I could tell that she wasn't going to die in the previous one, because that chapter was so long compared to this one. This chapter was 2 paragraphs.
I can literally see the end banner at the bottom without scrolling down.
Okay, so Melvin turns into a giraffe and gets eaten by a lion. That's pretty much all that happens.
Yeah.
Chapter 10. Wait, no. Chapter 11.
Okay, we have to go up and click on You Deserve to Proceed from the dog part.
Oh, okay.
It's just chapter 12. Okay, so all that happens is Melvin goes and just walks around, and then he sees Tom and a group of controllers, and they're at a weird place, so he wants to go infiltrate, right?
Yeah, it can be a Merf or a canine again. Now, let me just say,
Merif.
it is, this book is noticeably having a lot of solo Melvin scenes without the other Animorphs, which I guess is good because that means we're not spending the same God as book 1 as much.
Yeah.
But I kind of
This
wish there
supports
was more
the theory
people,
that the Animorphs just left Melvin out of
They're
it.
like, what a loser. Cassie had to rescue him from a bag. How lame is that? We'll
It's
steal
really
his.
lame.
We'll steal his morph cool animals idea.
And he morphed
that he came up with.
a freaking giraffe. Yeah, that'll be useful.
That one wasn't canon.
Like, he acquired a giraffe.
Anyway, I'm voting ferret.
Okay, I'll do the German Shepherd.
What are the options?
Ferret or canine, German Shepherd morph.
That's it?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can have the same ones and get double points. Or whatever.
Well, not. You could both get a point if you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, ferret or canine German Shepherd.
Ferret.
Oh wait, the reason you watched the morph is because Tom would recognize him or something?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tom's gonna see a ferret and then go, look, it's a ferret, and not think anything of it.
All right, so you two are doing ferret, and he's doing German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Okay, one of you read the ferret chapter.
I
Stir
did not
and Mustard
expect
got the
that to
point on
work,
this
but
one.
okay. So he is a ferret, and he goes into the elevator with a bunch of controllers, because he thinks that the controllers would not freak out when seeing a small furry animal when humans probably would, and they think about killing him. But then Tom recognizes that he belongs to the lady who lives
Ferret
next door.
lady.
Even though she is a controller, so she shouldn't theoretically have a problem with killing the ferret. But whatever, I guess.
That's a kind of a good point, yeah.
Yeah, I like how they had a scenario where it looked like you were about to die, and they make just as much sense of every other death in this, but they were like, nah, this is the right choice.
Well, you know he's not going to die because the chapter's 4 times as long as the ones where you die, yeah?
Yeah, let's see what
So they just go down into the Yerk pool with the ferret still in there, and what's his name? Melvin walks out and is like, "Oh man, I'm in the Yerk pool." Dang. So he's just in there now. Okay.
Yeah, that's really all that happened. He went to the Earth pool as a
Basically all that
ferret.
happened.
It was really long for just that. I mean, I say really long, the normal chapter length, but half the chapters are 2 sentences, not 2 sentences, but they're really short, some of them, half a page.
Let's see what chapter.
Alright,
how
what
many
would have
reading
happened if you turned into a dog?
Yeah.
Chapter 15. It's Finley, the policeman. Grab him, he cries.
Obviously.
And the other controller reaches for your collar, and you sink your teeth into his hand. With
morphed
a
her
howl.
collar. Melvin
You idiot!
Melvin-
Don't you know that dog DNA contains a collar?
Listen, he has cop
Batter.
DNA. He's a cop. He's a cop dog. He has police
Batter,
DNA.
you're so
in him.
stupid. Why did you pick police dog? You would have had a collar.
No.
Maybe Melvin just wears a collar when he's riding his bike. Just...
Sizzle, you're dead. Bad morph choice. You took the chance you might be recognized. You lost.
Okay, so summary. He morphed into a dog and then went into the elevator like the exact same way as the ferret, except this time somebody
Way
just randomly
stupider.
was aggressive towards him and pushed him back into the elevator, and that caused him to be recognized and chained to a machine. And then he watched the entire rest of the plot play out, standing there quietly, and nobody even thought to save him.
And
And
he
he
was
didn't even
recognized-
think to use thought speak to call out to anybody to save him.
He was
he was
recognized
very
because
shy.
he was recognized because he had the police collar.
Yeah,
Which
he
somehow
morphed
morphed.
the dog who had a police collar on. So that was your problem, really.
There's cop DNA in this universe. It's canon.
Bad morph choice. You took the chance you might be recognized,
But
even though
being
you were,
recognized is what saved
Yeah, he
him
was
when he was a ferret.
even though you literally were recognized as a ferret. You idiot. You fucking buffoon, Batter.
Wait, so what? Hang on. We finish on what actually happened in canon to move on to chapter 16.
He is a ferret and he got in just fine. Nobody thought the ferret was suspicious,
I forgot
but the
that's all
dog
that
was so
happened. He just
suspicious.
morphed- I forgot what happened because literally nothing
Because
happened.
the
He
dog,
just
the
morphed a
policeman
ferret.
recognized the dog.
Yeah, I guess animals just go into the yerk pool all the time. These yerks are not.
Well,
very
this
smart.
lady dropped her
Just not
ferret that she
dogs.
always has with her.
Just never dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, chapter 16.
Look up. A hawk has just flown over your head. It circles above the air for Cassie. Tobias, is that you? Who is it? It's me. I'm a ferret again. Cool, Tobias answers. We need all the help we can get. Sorry, I just pictured Tobias like, oh, this guy again. Cool. Oh, we totally didn't intentionally try to lose you back there at the gardens. Oh. What if this ends with Tobias eating you? Like, while no one's looking. Rachel pokes her head around the shed. You'd better stay here. You need to gather your strength if you're going to morph again. We'll come back when it's time. They're totally just gonna ditch him again. They hate him. Excellent morph. Continue for your next Animorph adventure. So, yeah, basically they just fight a bunch and they win.
There's a 3 turns and something that has 8 heads. That's fun.
That's the same as the first book.
Is Tobias stuck in morph?
Doesn't matter.
They kind of glossed over that.
They don't care enough about this guy to tell him stuff like that.
Oh, is this after that thing?
Yes, because he got trapped in the yerk
Okay.
pool and couldn't get out.
I guess I don't
Like
find
the
out
ones
until
it
later.
Was it established that Texans have red eyes?
Yeah.
Probably.
Like
Okay.
previously,
I feel
you
like some
mean?
of the art doesn't have them have red eyes.
No, it always says red like jelly eyes. I don't mean that specifically.
Okay.
One thing I noticed in this book, speaking of whether or not they say stuff previously, it for a second time referred to the monkey the gorilla that Marco acquired as being named Big Jim.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that was only previously mentioned once in book 1.
Yeah, so I think that something that's kind of interesting is I think that the author only read book 1 for reference for this book, because a lot of the writing is very similar to book 1, but not very similar to the writing that we've kind of gotten used to over the last 20 books or whatever.
Yeah.
The writing is based very much just book 1 specifically.
Yeah, there was no way that someone who read all the previous Animorphs in a row would refer to this as Big Jim multiple times, because it was just oh, Cassie was oh, this is Big Jim, let's acquire him, and that was it.
Yeah.
So I like knowing that info. I'm gonna refer to that gorilla as Big Jim.
I have
from
that
now on,
in the
man.
Morphs channel. I wrote Big Jim
Oh,
for Marco's Morph.
I don't look at that channel.
Okay.
I do.
So yeah, nothing happened. There's a fight.
Yeah, just like the first book.
Excellent morph.
Chapter 16. So when you called Jake that morning to ask if anything was up, he just sighed. They're so tired of this guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so Axe is here now.
Does it even explain who Axe is?
No.
No, the first
This
thing
book is
about-
so incompetent.
Okay, so just right after you said, oh, it seems like I was reading by someone who only read book 1, suddenly he's like, oh, here's Axe, by the way, book 11 just happened.
Yeah.
Why are they leaving Melvin out of everything? What the heck?
No,
They really
Melvin's
do
been
just-
on plenty of missions with the Animorphs. He has nightmares now. His life is totally changed, bro.
Hang on, so wasn't I paying enough attention, or did they just do 10 books without him?
They did.
This is all in one, was this what's
He
going
was there
on?
for some of them, or most of them.
What,
It was off screen. It was great.
How many days is this book covering?
However many days.
The actual ending of Animorphs is going to be covered by...
Someone summarize, because I tuned out halfway through.
The summary
I
is
think
that
we
this
summarized
is
it.
like several months later, and Melvin has gone on many missions with the Animorphs, many adventures, such happiness and sadnesses were had. And now he's like waiting for his mom to make pizza, and then he starts flashing to like visions of him and the Animorphs in the jungle. Then he goes to talk to Jake, and Jake is like, "This is just like Book 11, The Forgotten, when this exact same thing happened, but now I remember it, but nobody else remembers it, because if you remember the ending of Book 11, The Jungle, but they don't actually even explain
Right, isn't
that.
the flashing thing what happened to Jake at the beginning of Book 11?
Yep.
Okay.
This is just the same thing, except this time, like, it's actually like a thing that happened before within this universe.
That's pretty weird.
Chapter 17.
Okay, so they're not just stealing the plot from book 1, you're just stealing the plot from random Animorphs books and self-inserting Melvin in there.
Yeah.
Well, no, this is after Book 11. Book 11 has happened.
Well, not previously in this book, I would assume.
By the way, there are 16 pages left, and some of these pages presumably are not canon, so this is going to be a very quick story. A very quick little romp.
Yeah, but this covers like 12 books. Like, what the heck? Why is it going by so fast?
That's really weird.
It's a choose your own adventure book. I would expect it to be longer than the others because of all the different choices. The actual plot of this book is like 10 pages.
Yep.
So weird.
Chapter 17.
Okay, let's continue, I guess.
The trees soar above your heads. How do you know this stuff? Cassie asks. The last thing I remember, I was on the bug ship. We were shooting Dracon beams at Visor 3. It's a Sario rip, Jake says. Quickly, he summarizes what has happened. So how do we get back? Cassie asks.
Okay.
Summary. So they're in the... Somebody else summarize.
So, can I... Okay, I feel like I should summarize book 11 again, because it was a forgettable book, and people may have forgotten about it.
It's literally called The Forgotten.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we did the episode, you were like, dude, I don't remember this book at all from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
What happened in that book is, like, two laser beams intersected, and then they suddenly got teleported to, like, the jungle.
I love how this is basically necessary information for this
I know,
plot, but this
yeah.
book isn't explaining it. It
Yeah,
just says, Jake explained everything.
This book
We haven't been explained
This
everything.
book completely assumes that you have read book 11 and book 1, I think.
great.
Especially book 11. And, like, book 8, where, like, you have to have read every book before
You have
this.
to have read book 3.
You have to have read the book for Tobias.
Every single Animorphs book starts off with a summary of what happened, so if it is your first one, it's not that confusing, generally. Like, you would be confused, but, like, you read that and be like, well,
Of
maybe
all
it's
the
with
books
previous
not to
ones.
do that, this book.
Yeah. So what happens in book 11, there's a Saria Rip, which is some weird science portal thing. They get teleported to the rainforest, and then the whole adventure happens.
And
Jake
it's
makes a
also
bunch of
like
bad decisions.
it's also like 24 hours earlier in time.
Yeah.
It's a time travel thing as well. And in addition to being in South America.
And then Jake dies at the end, but then he is teleported back to his real life because it turns out he was... And then no one else remembers it. It was just Jake. And so it didn't happen because of how the Saria Rip works.
Right.
So this is happening again now, except to Melvin. But also, Jake remembers everything, so he's going to make all the right decisions this time. And everyone, but no one else remembers it because they didn't do it.
What did he do wrong last time? Like, what did he do wrong? Nobody, like...
Well, the whole book was about how Jake was making bad decisions. I remember we were like, his decisions seem perfectly fine in this. They're just not going well. And the whole, like mental, plot in the book was Jake feeling bad about making wrong decisions.
Remember when Animorphs books had, like, themes?
Yeah.
Like, that book was, like, kind of fun
Yeah.
because it had a theme. But even though I forgot it, like, it wasn't very good, I guess, but it did have a theme.
So,
That's you. I remember that.
So it's just happening again. So they're literally in book 11 again. Except this time Melvin's there, and also Jake already did it. And
so
he's
we're
like,
speedrunning this.
he's like, guys, you have to do this. And they're like, oh, the last thing but also, like, it's literally happening again, like, the exact situation. Because the Animorphs are like, oh, the last thing I remember is I was on the blade ship when we shot a laser. So, like, for them, it actually is, like, the plot from book 11. That didn't happen in this book, though. Like, they weren't there when it happened here. But Melvin and Jake remember where they actually were. It's very strange. Why are they in book 11 now?
Of all the books. Book 11.
I mean, it kind of feels thematically related, I guess, because it's about making choices.
I guess
Yeah.
so.
That's true.
So,
I like that
They
connection.
really did not need to go this confusing. To be honest.
It's so... You have to have read multiple books before this one. It's so... I mean, I don't... It's like a whole narrative thing where you should read the
And
books in order, but you have to have...
Like Finantro was saying about Megamorphs 3, it's hard to know where these books fall in the timeline, too.
Yeah.
This book doesn't stand alone whatsoever, though. Like, at least the other books, like, yeah, it's better to read the books before, but I feel like they kind of at least try to stand alone.
They do. I think they do a decent job. We're like, why are they explaining all this stuff? We read the previous books. This one, they
also
explain
they
nothing.
have their own stuff going on. This one's just relying
we're
on.
basically not happy no matter what these books decide to do. So
I'm happy with what the normal books do personally, and I'm fine because I did read the previous books, but it's just a very different approach than all the other ones, which is odd.
No, I'm saying like in terms of like any substantive stuff going on. Every single thing that's substantively going on absolutely relies on you even like having read an entire other book.
Like they were like, oh man, we can't morph ants again. Wasn't that like book 9 where they morphed ants and like it freaked out?
5.
5.
Yeah.
Wait, was 5? That was 9.
It was 5.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Okay, monkey, parrot, or parasol.
I'm gonna go ant this time.
I'm gonna go with
Of course, I love
parrot. Definitely not ant, I would say.
I'm going with ant.
Is my thought.
So mustard is parrot, and I'm reading monkey. Chapter 18. Bad morph. Go back and try again. Okay, so what happened is they were monkey, and then like this bad stuff happened. Like it doesn't matter. Like
Doesn't matter.
I do remember the line, "The coolest tail in the universe, cooler than mine." Sorry, way cooler. I do remember that.
Okay.
From before.
Is this weird or is this normal? Because I don't recall this happening in Animorphs book before. Because it happened twice so far. Where Melvin
Where
says
characters die out of nowhere. Yeah, that's pretty weird.
No, well, Melvin says something only in narration, and then a character like responds to it.
Yeah.
Like you can imply that they said it. Like obviously, I guess he said it out loud. But like previously when he was like, oh yeah, these are Phoebe morphs, he just said in narration. And then it was like, oh, because of the Phoebe morph complaint I had. Like he thought that and then went home and told Rachel, oh dude, these morphs are Phoebe, dude.
That's interesting.
And then it's like, oh, Axe had the coolest tail in the universe. And then it just says that in narration and then Axe is like, cooler than mine? It's just it's a strange writing.
Yeah.
I don't think Animorphs has done this before, where they just respond to the narration directly instead
Another
of
thing I'm noticing,
saying explicitly they said it out loud.
This is in present tense. All the other Animorphs books are in past.
Well, also it's in second person.
But it's
Well,
in
of course
second
it's in
person,
second
so
person.
I give it a pass for that.
That's fine. I don't hate present tense.
It's a very differently written animal. I mean, most of it's like similar, but very different. Oh, also, it does say that he was there when they were ants. So, like, multiple books have happened with Melvin, and there's. I'm curious how far the speedrun's going to go of just going through all the books, but Melvin's there and stating what's different. I guess
like 15 pages left. It's gonna be like the last it's gonna be like. The next 20 books are in the last 5
write
pages.
Melvin back out again. I guess it's just gonna be.
This book's just not canon. I mean, I wouldn't be completely surprised if it was like, oh yeah, and there was like a ultimate timeline related to the Megamorph book that just happened. You know,
seems too cool for this book.
Maybe.
Parrot, one of you.
That was me. I'll read Parrot.
You and Stir are both Parrot.
No,
Stir
so
was
was Ant.
Ant.
Oh.
A parrot. Okay, so let's see so Melvin died as a monkey. Let's see what happens as a parrot. Your parrot morph was successful. You meet up with the tribe and escape the notice of the Hork-Bajir, but you need another morph to sneak aboard the blade ship. You choose chameleon, poison arrow, frog, or jaguar.
No, so his parrot was right.
Alright, let's see what Ant does.
Wait, could we summarize that first?
Oh, yeah.
Basically, it's the same thing that happens in the book, right?
Yeah, okay, so they talk to tribesmen, and Cassie becomes a bird spirit by being in halfway morph and says, like, oh...
Melvin does nothing of consequence.
Does that happen in book 11? I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the reason I wanted to go Parasol Ant was because I remembered that they both turned into monkeys and parrots in book 11.
Oh.
So I was like, I guess both of those are wrong. Like, I'm not sure why one of them would be right and the other one wouldn't. And also, Melvin just mentions parasol ants for no reason.
Yeah, it was Melvin's idea. Like, guys, we should do ants again.
But you know what? Now that I'm saying this, I shouldn't trust Melvin.
Anything that Melvin suggests
Anything Melvin
says
is automatically stupid, so...
So
let's see what fantastical way the parasol ant fails now.
Okay.
But yeah, basically they turn into parrots, they fly around, they find the tribes people, and they decide to meet up with the tribes people later.
Yeah, and they gotta get on the boat, and now Melvin has to get on the blade ship by morphing something. But first, let's see what would have happened with Parasol Ant.
Alright, chapter 20. The parasol ant morph makes sense. Who notices an ant? You congratulate yourself on your bright idea. Until you're an ant, the others had really warned you about this morph. Okay, wait, so...
Oh, wait, so he wasn't there?
So he wasn't there for the ant book.
Why do you say we should morph ants again?
So why did they...
Why would they listen to him when he hasn't been here before and didn't know the horrors of it?
Oh my gosh.
Because for anyone who doesn't remember, they hated being ants and were like, we were never going to be ants again because there was like a hive mind where they were like controlled and they didn't have free will.
This is like another. This just supports my theory that the Animorphs want to get rid of Melvin. Like they all said, like, "Oh, Melvin."
Oh yeah, we'll morph ants. Yeah, Melvin.
You
Morph.
morph ants.
Yeah.
They all
He's the
stood
only
there and
one who morphs
watched.
an ant,
Melvin, you're so brave. You go out ahead.
Anyway, I must admit, this is not a creature I would want to morph again, Axe says. Hold it, Tobias warns.
Yeah,
I
you
only
guys
see
thought that last
5 of
time.
you. The others tick off a roll call. You don't answer. You're halfway up the tree now. You've got to keep going. Melvin is so bad at everything.
I like so. I
So
think,
what happened?
That one pretty much is how I expected it to.
I think
Melvin morphs an ant, gets disoriented by the fact that he doesn't have control over the hive mind, and crawls up a tree and gets eaten by a sloth, while everyone else is like, dang, I hate Animorphs.
Okay, not your best morph try. So
I like that. Okay, so my theory is that like Melvin just like dropped into like a time portal or something, and just popped out like sometime after book 1. He popped out like at this time, so that's why he doesn't remember like anything except
But
he
he
also
said
does.
he had so many fun adventures.
He was okay. New theory: he was in a coma and he hallucinated all the adventures, and the Animorphs are just keeping
He
up
was just
his.
so excited
they're
to be
just
part of the group.
They're just keeping up his delusion, and they're just waiting for a time to quietly like send him off. So actually, every time he dies, it's a success story for the Animorphs. Those are the.
Okay.
back to parrot timeline. Yes,
Hold
we
on.
get on the blade ship.
I have to make.
Oh,
I'm sending a meme. Hold on.
that's okay. Anyone has other notes about anything so far? I suppose.
Yeah. Alright, so they turned into chameleons and jaguars last time, right? Did they turn
Did
into
they?
chameleons?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember coming.
You remember way more about this book than I do.
Alright, well, I'm gonna go jaguar this time, since I remembered them doing that in the first book, so no way I can go wrong with this.
I'm going chameleon because that sounds cool.
Chameleon seems like if they need a sneak, a chameleon can like sneak and.
So, be natural. You poison arrow frog.
So
I guess.
stir and mustard are chameleon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what's
Jaguar.
batter?
I'm jaguar.
Okay. So what's first?
Chameleon.
Your colour protects you as you scurry along the floor. You belong to the forest or part of the forest. You can hear the sound of Hook-Bajir in the forest. Oh, okay. You can hear the sound of Hook-Bajir in the What? Excuse me? Okay, this part's being kept in the episode. Let me read the sentence. You belong to the forest or part of the forest. You can hear the sound of Hook-Bajir in forest. You can hear the sound of Hook-Bajir in the distance. But you're quick and agile and unafraid. You're the millions instincts. Like
That's definitely the opposite.
Was that in the original book? Because okay, I can see maybe there was some kind of printing error where like they copied part of that previous sentence and like you can hear the sound of, and then it goes Hook-Bajir and then in forest from the previous line. That's just weird. I want to check the original book that has that because man.
Yeah.
The ebook of this on another website has the same writing on the Hook-Bajir
Yeah,
in
see,
the
I don't
forest.
see how that can be as a mistake, a printing mistake, as much as the other ones.
Yeah, maybe it was just like he like accidentally copied and pasted part of a sentence and then forgot to delete it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
What it sounds like, yeah.
Because at first I thought it was just bad writing. I was like, no, there's definitely something else going here.
Nobody
This
was
is-
willing to edit this book. Nobody was willing to read over this book to edit it.
No. May I make a suggestion, Prince Jake? Axe says. Perhaps we should scatter. One chameleon might have wandered aboard, but not 6. Good point, Jake agrees. Yeah. Let's separate positions. We have to wait until the ship goes back to the same space position and fires its rockets.
Let's split up, okay? Cassie and Rachel are together, Tobias and Axe, Marco and Jake, Melvin, you go on your own.
And then they actually all just stay together and we'll watch Melvin go off.
I love this idea that they just hate Melvin. Okay, back to what it actually says. You're in the front quad outside school. You're wearing a sweater that you haven't worn since last year. Ahead of you is the bus stop. You see Patrolman Teeter directing traffic. He retired last summer. You turn. Rachel's back on the steps of school. Her hair is a good 4 inches shorter. She touches it, frowning. She wore that last year. You've gone back in time like you should have, but you overshot your time. You're a year too early. There isn't like a text after that saying what to do
No,
next.
that's because you just go to the next chapter. You don't have to
well, I didn't
skip
say
any
good
chapters.
job, so.
Well, I guess we... so someone summarized that.
Also, there's no period there.
Because we have to go back and do Poison Arrow, Frog, and Jaguar, I guess.
Yeah. So
Dang, how are you so good at picking the right ones, Mustard?
Yeah, what are you, a wizard?
Yeah,
Did you read this beforehand
He's
or
just-
something? Like, I don't...
He's just extremely intelligent, okay? You have to be very smart to understand this book.
Yeah.
It's all based on logic.
So what happens is they morph chameleons, they go into the blade ship, and the chameleons, and
The ship takes off.
the ship does the thing. So because Jake remembers Book 11, he knows what not to do. And then the blade ships, the beams intersect again, which makes another Saria rip.
So, wait, this is what the Yerks were doing before they got shot or something?
I
They
don't
got shot by the Animorphs in the other ship?
I don't really care.
I'm not
I
really
don't
paying
know.
attention to the
I
lore
was
of
zoned
this.
out too, so...
But what's important is Melvin gets teleported to 1 year before. I think it seems like before he joined the Animorphs even. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting plot development here. The back in time.
Something that hasn't happened in the actual other books?
Yeah.
The Bug Freighter and the Blade ship have to intersect those recon beams. They've already...
Okay, so Batter,
Whatever.
you
do
were
Poison
gonna
Arrow Frog.
I know,
You do
so
Poison
you
Arrow
were
Frog,
doing
and
Jaguar?
I'm gonna
Okay,
do
so I'll do
Jaguar.
Poison Arrow Frog.
So what happened with Poison Arrow Frog?
Chapter 26. It's a Beheon, Axe cries. Look out for it! A 3-foot wide sticky pink tongue suddenly shoots out of the creature's mouth. It laps you up like cream. Frog's legs, delicious, Visor 3 says, and slurp, you're finished.
That wasn't even an animal that lives in the jungle. That was literally an alien that this author just came up with.
Batter, you got eaten twice. How do you feel?
You got eaten.
Batter
This
didn't
is
vote
your
for that
lore.
idiot.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. I forgot.
You were reading it.
Yeah, how did you mix that up?
So
Anyway,
they
that
morphed.
was the stupidest one yet.
Melvin morphed a frog and got eaten by Visor 3. That's it, really.
Because,
Who's being
as
a
you know,
new
chameleons have no natural predators, so...
And
Oh
also,
gosh.
poison arrow frogs are very easy to eat. Everyone should eat them. I recommend it. Frog's legs, yum.
Yep.
Please eat poison arrow
Wait,
frogs.
so wait, hang
Most
on.
edible of
Wait, so
creatures.
Visor 3 ate it?
Yes.
Wait, so maybe in this universe he dies. In the
And Melvin's gone.
Yeah.
It's a 2 for 1.
That seems like a good
Yeah.
2 for
plan.
1 deal.
That should be the canon ending.
This is the real ending.
I mean, that is... Man, I wish that was because that's the second to last page. I wish that was the last
Yeah.
page. So that I could just imagine, it's the last page.
and
that's
But
the
we're
second
about to
one.
read the last page.
Yeah, we're about to read the last
Visor
page.
3 is dead and Melvin's dead. Everyone has a party.
Poison dart frog.
Alright,
Jaguar
chapter
time.
27. They surround you. It is Visor 3 and Lurdathak morph. Okay, so all of this is dependent on which morph Visor 3 tries, not which morph you try.
You butterfly affected Visor 3 into
You
choosing
did,
that morph.
apparently.
So what actually won? Chameleon?
Chameleon, yeah.
Okay, well,
So
I
you're
guess
a
I'll
year
read.
too early.
Oh yeah, nothing really happened. He just got eaten by a different, visibly turned into a different creature this time and ate him.
Yep.
The Lurdathak.
And there's
From the actual
there's
book.
only 5 pages we haven't read.
Chapter 22. A window slides down. Marco's mother waves at him. Dude, this is the freaking Nazi universe.
Yeah,
Marco's mother waves at him. Hi, honey. Thought I'd give you a ride. Next to you, Marco has gone completely still. His mother is dead. That's what everyone thinks, anyway. Only you, Jake, and X know that Marco's mother was taken over by the Yurks. She is Visor 3's rival, Visor 1. You are shocked to see her alive and warm and happy. So it takes you longer than it should to see the pit bull. It runs across the grass toward her. Then you hear the voice that haunts your nightmares. I will end it here. Marco, you
What?
cry. It's Visor 3.
No!
Marco starts to run, but you know in a split second that you can't fight this
What?
dog. Not as a human, anyway. He is too far away. You only have seconds to try and...
Morphing takes minutes!
He is too far away! He is too far away, Batter! He is too far away!
Oh my
You have only
gosh.
seconds to try
You
and
have
morph!
only seconds to morph.
Because he is too far away!
Because he's too far away.
Wait, why is
Okay.
Visor 1 alive? Didn't she die years earlier?
No, that was well, they have the body. Like Visor 3 would have had it.
What?
Wait,
No, the Pitbull is Visor 3. Yeah.
Guys, this is before the book with Visor
oh, the
1.
Pitbull is Visor 3?
Sorry, did this happen a year ago and just nobody mentioned it ever? What is happening? Why are we...
Yeah.
I do not remember this
makes
part.
no sense.
I'm gonna say giraffe.
I'm gonna say hyena, but first, okay. So what happened? I'm honestly so confused about what happened. They're in the past,
Visor 1 is just here for some reason.
and
Marco still believes that she's dead because that...
No,
this is before book
because
15.
this is before book 15.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I
Book
didn't even
5
think of
did
that.
happen.
So, and Jake and X know...
Wait, why did they...
Wait, no,
why would Marco think
Melvin
he's
says
dead?
that it's Visor 1 though, so Melvin knows. So that means Marco would know.
Yeah, it
No,
says you
no,
know.
it says
Because
only Axe
Melvin,
and Jake and Melvin
X
know.
and Jake know. Max and Jake somehow told Melvin or something. I don't know. It doesn't explain how.
Wait, why does it say only you, Jake, and Axe know
Wait,
that
does
Marco's
Marco
mother?
know?
So
Because-
Marco doesn't know that Marco's
Yes,
mom
you guys don't
is
remember
Visser 1?
this?
No.
No. What do
You don't?
Marco never found out that his mom was Visser 1 until later.
Until book 5.
When
Book
did
five
Jake
is
find
No,
out?
was it like book 15? No,
Yes, it
when
was
did-
like book 15 where he found out.
No, he found out in book 5. There was a big reveal
No, I
in book
thought it was
5.
just
We
Jake
literally
that knew.
call our episode on book 5 Mothership Gate
Because Jake knows. It was a Jake book.
No, it was the Marco book. Book 5 is a Marco book. Jake
That's
books
true.
are 1-6.
Wait, that wasn't because it was his mother, was it?
Well,
That's because it was the mother's ship. It had nothing to do with
I guess
mother.
No, but there's definitely a part in that book where they make it. Listen, I'm right, okay? They definitely Marco
I believe you.
and Marco and Jake
Okay.
were the only in the original book. Marco and Jake were the only ones to know.
So this chapter is so confusing. So
And
they're back in the
apparently
past.
Marco doesn't know that Marco's.
Well,
mom is
I wouldn't be
Visser 1.
surprised if it's just a writing mistake and
Well,
like
yeah.
it actually
whole
means
book is
them
a writing
and
Well,
Marco.
mistake.
yeah, obviously, since everyone believes that Marco's mom is dead, she wouldn't just come back and pretend to be his mom.
Well, maybe she
anymore.
died whenever. Like it doesn't say how far in the past they went.
This is 1
One
year.
year.
One
Does it
year.
say
said 1
at least
year.
a year?
One
No,
year.
it's 1 year.
Because
Apparently, Marco finds out about his mom in the same book that Jake does, which I thought it was two different books. But if that's the case, then Jake can't know when Marco doesn't know. So
yeah,
So yeah, they're at school and then Marco's mom just pulls up in a car and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she's alive!" And Marco runs toward her. And then I can't tell whether she's Visser 3 or if the dog is Visser 3.
the
the
dog.
dog is Visser 3.
Visser
a pit
3 is a
bull.
pit bull running towards Marco's mom at this exact moment too, and he says in thought speak to everybody around him, "I will end it here."
Yep.
Does Visser 3 know that Marco is an Animorph though? How would he know
He's
that?
trying to
No,
look
he's
towards
just trying
Visser
to kill
1.
Visser
Oh,
1.
trying to kill Visser 1.
Yes, because he
Okay.
hates her.
I didn't get that.
Because of
Okay.
their rivalry.
So Visser 3 is trying to kill Visser 1 here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Marco's
Why doesn't-
running toward his mom because he's excited to
I
see
don't
her
see why
again.
Visser 3 doesn't do this in the main series. It seems like a flawless plan. Like Visser 1 shows up on Lyra or whatever, and Visser freaking Pitbull runs towards her.
Of course, it's a
Yeah.
pit bull.
Yeah.
So Melvin sees this going on. He's like, I have to do something. I can't fight this dog as human. He's too far away. I only have seconds to have to try a morph.
As you know, humans are melee attackers. He's too far away.
Hyena, canine, dog, or giraffe. I'm going with hyena.
I'm going with the
I
giraffe.
guess I'll go canine dog.
Okay, Mustard.
Just
I have
The giraffe
a feeling
with
the
the-
giraffe is going to win in a really silly way.
Mustard
Just the
is-
giraffe has a long neck. It doesn't have to run there. It can just stretch there. So it's
Just lie
faster.
down. Wait,
I
so
think I
Mad
understand
Giraffe?
Past this book too.
I'm thinking hyena because we saw that hyena try to kill a girl, so it'd be good at killing a dog, is my thought.
I have a feeling giraffe is going to win in a stupid way, but canine dog makes the most sense.
I hope hyena is in the... Okay. I can tell already it's not the first one because this page is
Oh boy,
like
this
2
is very
paragraphs.
short.
Okay, go hyena.
He runs up behind you and pulls his gun.
Oh my god.
Bang! You're dead! Bad morph, you should have thought about Patrolman Tina. Visser 3 is still alive and you're just a dead hyena.
That's what a way to put that.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
just a-
Wait, how does the patrolman allowed to have a gun near the school?
This is a
zone?
great chapter. Melvin, morphs hyena, bites Visser 3. Patrolman Tina, who in previously was he wasn't there. He
This is
retired a
new-
year ago.
This was an OC.
But in the past, he's here again, and he always protects the kid, so he pulls a gun and bang, you're dead!
But he didn't care about the pit bull attacking a woman.
No, only about the hyena attacking the pit bull,
Yeah.
protecting the women.
So I guess we're
apparently.
just screwed. I guess we just can't help. We just can't help
I know,
Visser 1
right?
here. Dude, would it be metal if every single ending here ended with Melvin dying? Like,
Well,
why
I
not?
feel like-
Dude, I would
feel
love
like,
that so much.
The canine dog is going to end in a similar way. It's actually even shorter.
Oh
Alright.
boy.
Chapter 24. A canine dog.
Giraffe wins!
A canine dog is highly trained for tracking. It is also trained in defense. It is a match for a pit bull, but is it a match for a pit bull controlled by
Oh, you
Visser
didn't
3?
think of that better!
The evil force of Visser 3 joins with the powerful jaws and killing instinct of the pit bull. The combined force turns the animal into a creature 3 times.
It's just like Super Saiyan flames going around him.
You leap on the dog's back, your bigger, and you use your bulk to force the dog down. You sink your teeth into the fur around his neck and pull him off Marco's mother. The two of you roll backward. Patrolman
into each
Teeter
other's
runs
eyes.
forward, but he won't draw his gun, not on two dogs.
What?
All you hear are the snarls of your adversary. You smell blood and terror. The terror is yours. You realize that you are outmatched. The pit bull's teeth rip into your throat. You can't bark. You can't speak. You try to morph back, but your life force is ebbing. Rip, you're dead. Go back and try again.
Okay. How does this...
3 times as strong.
Please summarize this somewhere.
So
his power levels are over 9,000.
Visser 3.
I only did a calculation.
Evil
3 times as deadly. Not 2 times as deadly. 3. Not Mr. 3 plus Pitbull equals 2. No,
Yeah,
3.
This is anti-pitbull propaganda.
It really is. He says Visser 3
killing
combines with the killing instinct of the Pitbull. Yeah, I think Pitbull.
At first I was like, oh good, it's just because it's physical. No, it's because Pitbulls are bad too, I guess.
Definitely.
Good thing I only have goats
And,
in my house. And
Patrolman
not
Tito
Pitbulls.
does not pull a gun because it's just 2 dogs attacking
Where's
a
the
woman.
hyena? Yeah.
What the
But Visser 3 kills you, so.
One of the dogs was trying to attack a woman.
And you can't morph out, so.
Well, no.
I guess it says RIP, you're dead. Go back and try again.
Okay, hi, Giraffe Boy. Let's see what your plan is,
I
Giraffe
forgot
Boy.
you're Giraffe Boy.
I'm Giraffe Boy.
Why'd you look ahead? Stop that.
Okay, Giraffe Boy, let's see what your bright idea is.
You leap behind a tree and accomplish your
Behind a
giraffe
tree?
plan.
It's less time than it takes a pitbull to reach the human woman.
You leap behind a tree,
Oh my gosh.
and nobody sees you because you're behind a tree.
In this school full of children.
In a giraffe.
Your legs grow so rapidly that you crack your head on a branch. Your neck
Ow,
stretches.
you die, the end.
Your skin is
You
patterned
should
with
have thought
tan and
about how
brown.
tall the giraffe was, idiot. Why
With
did
a
I buy
clatter
a
of
tree?
hooves, you take
You're just
off
jealous.
toward Marco's mother. You're there in 3 powerful
You're just
strides.
jealous of how intelligent Giraffe Boy is better.
Giraffes are peaceful creatures, and Patrolman Teeter is stunned to see one appear, but he doesn't go for his gun. He would never shoot a giraffe.
Okay.
This is a well-established part of Patrolman Tito's character. You know that he would never shoot a giraffe. He said this many times in the school year. Children, I don't care what a giraffe is doing to you. I would never shoot a giraffe. I would shoot my own wife before I shoot a giraffe. This is what Patrolman Tito's catchphrase is.
You nod versus 3 into next week. Flash. It's next week.
Okay.
Is that really what it says?
No.
Oh.
Onions on it too? Mom asked you. She's stirring a pot of tomato sauce on the kitchen stove.
What actually did go to next week?
We were all there. Jake asks, and I knew I was in a second serial rip. And when we went back in time, Marco and I both knew we were in the wrong time. Marco knew his mother was dead, gone, whatever. Jake looks at Axe. Did any of this make sense to you? No, except for the motive of versus
No.
3.
And
He manipulated the story rip to go back further in time. He knew it would happen, Jake asks. He was trying to kill his enemy's host before it became a host, Axe explains.
What?
You see, some hosts are better than others. Obviously, Visser 1 has found a host that has extraordinary abilities. Jake groaned, so I fell into another trap in the Amazon swell. I can't even be smart in someone else's serial rip. But it turned out well, Prince Jake, Axe points out. Visser 3 was stopped by the giraffe morph. This is why the holding never happened. He returned to the original
Makes
time of the
sense.
rips that he wouldn't be stopped. The good news is that Marco's mother was not killed, so Visser 1 is still Visser 3's enemy, which is good for us, to have them fighting for power distract Visser 3. But I don't get it, you say. If I was in Visser 3's rip, why do I remember it? And why did you and Jake remember some of it back in the Amazon? Axe shrugged. Someday we might figure it out, but you're alive. You saved Marco's mother. That is the important thing. You survived to fight another day.
And then if you click on that, it goes back to the first page of the
Oh,
book.
okay.
I guess meaning that you're supposed to just do it again and again.
Well, let's
Yeah,
summarize
but there's
that.
only one correct path.
Let's
so.
summarize the chapter and then before we
I don't
talk
even
about the book
know.
as a whole.
That was just a whole bunch of exposition.
What is a spider?
That didn't make any sense.
Get rid of
made
it.
no sense whatsoever.
Doesn't visit 3 anymore.
We done it!
We did it!
Congratulations.
Okay.
Woo!
So what happened is, he wolfed into a giraffe.
Oh, it's less than 3 hours, okay.
And
Kicked Visser 3 into next week.
yeah,
And then
kicked
he
Visor
saved
3.
the day.
He attacked Visor 3, which stopped Visor 3 from attacking Visor 1.
So all of that takes place, like, before...
Before Visor 1 was even Visor 1? Because
Yeah.
I swear Visor 1 has been
That was
in
definitely more
Marco's
than a year
mom
ago.
for more than a year.
Hang on,
Yeah.
I'm looking into this.
And yeah, she was Marco's mom before, like, for years before she disappeared, too. So.
Yeah. No, this doesn't make any sense. But and Visor 3 was trying to not. So that makes it me. So Visor 3 wasn't trying to kill Visor 1. He was trying to kill Marco's mom because Marco's mom is such an epic host that she allows Visor 1.
No, listen. She gives Visor 1 three times the power just by existing.
Yeah, she does.
Wait, you're right. That doesn't make any sense. You're right.
Like, you're not gonna kill Visor 1.
You know, okay. Maybe she, like, what happened that got her promoted to Visor would not have happened if she didn't happen, like some kind of butterfly effect thing when she wasn't in that body.
That's not what it said, though. It said she's an extraordinary host. She has incredible powers.
Okay.
Obviously, Visor 1... Hold on.
But let me finish explaining the chapter, I guess. So we find out what happened.
Some hosts are better than others.
He stops Visor 3 from attacking Visor 1, and then he's suddenly blasted back to his normal timeline.
Biden blast.
And none of the other Animorphs remember any of this, including like them going back to book 11 in this book. They don't remember that because this was a Melvin Sawyer rip. But Visor,
were they saying it was Visor 3? Sorry,
yes,
it was
because
Visor 3's, and then Jake and X and Marco and Melvin can all remember it for some reason.
Yeah, the second Sawyer rip that happened within the first one was a Sawyer rip that Visor 3 caused intentionally with the laser beams as a trap to try to go back in the past to kill Marco's mom.
How did you follow this?
Because I was paying attention.
I've known this book for like 10 years and I had no idea what this ending was about ever.
Okay.
Why are you paying so much attention?
Because it's the last chapter I get.
Why do you care so much, Mustard?
So that's what happens. Well, because it's interesting to me. This part, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's never going to matter anyway.
Wasn't interesting enough for you to win. Stir won. Stir was the smartest boy.
Wait, I want to talk about the chapter more.
He literally just piggybacked on other people's the whole time.
That's not true. He
made the clutch final
him and I
decision.
think the same way. We're going to think similar things.
Stir broke from Mustard and made the clutch final decision to be a giraffe, which was obviously the high IQ choice here. To hide, because there was a tree to hide behind.
He knew that Patrolman Teeter would never kill a giraffe.
Yeah, there were several factors going into this that you had to study up on. Stir knew that Patrolman Teeter would never kill a giraffe. Furthermore, there was a tree to hide behind. So basically everything was in line for the giraffe to lead you to success today.
Anyway, so then when Melvin stops Visor 3 from trying to do his plan of using the Sawyer Rip to kill that, it just gets them out of the Sawyer Rip, similar to in Book 11, where the Sawyer Rip just goes back and everyone's back to normal, and they don't remember it, except Melvin. But, like, Marco remembered the first Sawyer Rip the first Sawyer Rip in this book, in the second Sawyer Rip in this book. It was very... And they were like, Axe, how come some of us remembered it then and now none of us remember it now? And Jake remembered it in the first one, and Marco remembered it in the second one, and now none of us remember it. And he was like, I don't know, I didn't pay attention in school. And I accept that answer personally.
Okay. Those books need to have all of that stuff in there. It was already confusing enough without the time travel.
The place where the book ended was extremely arbitrary. It's just like, you survive, you live on to go another day, and that's it. Like, it could have ended at any chapter.
So,
like, you made the right decision.
Alternamorphs 2, picks up from where this takes off then? Or?
Do you want me to tell you?
I don't want to know that.
Okay.
Visor 1 has found a host that has extraordinary abilities, but refuses to elaborate.
Okay, yeah, let me just, so, if we are to believe that at least most of the universe in this book is somewhat canon, although a different, continuity, obviously...
I don't think it is, because Visor 1 was Visor 1 way before...
We don't know that. No, don't you remember? A whole, conflict was Marco didn't know, was my mom Visor 1 this whole time for years, or was she not? We never find that out. And this is confirmation now.
Yeah, but didn't she disappear before, longer than a year ago?
I don't know.
Yeah, that too.
I find it hard to believe that she became Visor 1, and then, a year later. And also, I'm sorry.
Maybe it was more than a year than Melvin. Didn't Melvin just say the guy dressed that way a year ago and he retired a year ago?
Marco used to say...
I assume that could have been more than a year ago.
In one of the books, Marco talks about how his his parents used to fight a lot, and then at some
their
point,
marriage got better.
yeah, which is like kind of cool, and like I don't want this book to undo that and be like,
Well, I kind of. I always assumed that it was speculation and fear that she was.
There's no reason Visser
Yeah,
1
the
had
whole
to
time.
be here.
It was
just
heavily
so stupid.
implied.
It was strange. And also, I will say, they are speculating that Visser is trying to stop her before she acquires it, but we don't know that for sure. Maybe that could have just been Visser 1.
Okay,
and they
first book.
assuming it wasn't.
The first book. The book won the invasion. 2 years ago, Marco's mom died.
Okay, so 2 years ago.
There you go.
This was 1 year
So
ago in
this
this
is-
book.
Does it say it was 1 year ago? It says
This is last year.
Does it say that specifically? That
It
this
said
was
this
happening
was
years
how
ago?
Rachel styled her hair last year.
So she only styles her hair that way like once in her life.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
It could have been 2 years ago.
Fine, you can have it. I don't want to argue about this stupid thing anymore.
I'm giving this book a thumbs up.
Oh, we're doing that for this?
Well, yeah, this is in the book
Okay,
channel.
yeah, this is my book 12. I'm giving it a thumbs up, ironic, like, because I
Really,
enjoyed
yeah.
reading it, but
No.
it was a very bad book, though. It was extremely bad. It was probably the worst book we've read.
Stu, where are you going?
I didn't hate it, so I'll give it a meh. But it doesn't deserve a thumbs up.
Oh, Stu's giving us thumbs up. Wow, I was not expecting any other thumbs ups from this, honestly.
It was horrible. It was just very fun to read.
Okay. I wrote some notes midway through. I haven't read many Choose Your Own Adventure books, and this is not a very good Animorphs book or a very good Choose Your Own Adventure book. But the fact that they combined those two good things made it enjoyable and interesting to me. Yeah? Like if this was some random Choose Your Own Adventure book that wasn't related to Animorphs, what?
It was kind of neat
Cover
that
is
it
a
makes you
bunch of
choose a
Among
morph.
Uses.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like. Okay, this book. It's not a good Choose Your Own Adventure book, but it had to be a Choose Your Own Adventure book. Otherwise, it would have been stupid. The plot was nothing but other Animorphs books with a self-insert that is the reader. It says you. So this is allowing kids to insert themselves into Animorphs and make the decisions themselves. That's a cool idea.
Not really, because every single decision doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, that's what real life's like.
Okay, yeah.
guys, can't you see that being an Animorph is really, really hard? Okay, this is making you empathize with them more.
Being an Animorph is just a series of
They're so lucky.
completely random.
It just
luck.
makes them seem
Has
really
nothing-
a lot more lucky than
has
they
nothing to do with your
started out.
abilities, actually.
Yeah.
It's so weird that this Melvin shows up and.
But I think
he's
that's
just there.
thematically related to Book 11, so that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you guys like that the lion was on the cover? The lion was super important to the story.
Oh, the lion that killed the giraffe?
That's
Yeah,
right.
the only lion?
I forgot about the lion.
That was
Well,
the
when you
cover.
said, "Oh, I bet he's going to be important," I knew that meant he wasn't going to be.
Oh,
I just
sorry.
forgot about it. The only other Choose Your Own Adventure book I read was a graphic novel called Meanwhile that I read as a kid from the library, and that was pretty cool.
That does sound cool.
I watched a video about a Choose Your Own Adventure comic where, like, it's like a whole adventure, but then the only way to get, like, the good ending is to, like, cheat and, like, read the book in order instead of following the pages, and it, like, breaks the fourth wall, and that's pretty cool. I won't
That
say
is
what book
cool.
it is for spoiler reasons, but message us on Twitter or something if you want to know what the video is, I guess. But yeah, Choose Your Own Adventure books can do cool stuff. This one did nothing.
When I was in
Like, Meanwhile was really cool too, I think, from what I
there,
remember.
when I was
It
playing
was
Pop
very young
Tropica
then.
when I was in elementary school, there was like the newest island at the time was the Choose Your Own Adventure island. And like, you know, I didn't know what the Choose Your Own Adventure series was, so I thought this island is this island where you choose your own adventure. So I did it, and it was just like every single other Pop Tropica island where it was a linear storyline where you had to solve the puzzle in a certain way. And I was like, what? But it was actually just an island sponsored by the Choose Your Own Adventure series.
Oh.
And like there was like a part where like the characters were like, the Choose Your Own Adventure series is so cool. And that's
funny.
my experience with the Choose Your Own Adventure series.
I've read like one book. I enjoyed
I've seen
it.
them.
It
Sorry.
was cool. I've read a bunch of Goosebumps, Choose Your Own Adventures books too.
Oh, I've heard the Goosebumps You Choose the Scare are good.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
That's what they're called. They're good.
The Choose Your Own Adventure books were like on the. I remember them being like on the school shelves next to the Animorphs and Goosebumps and all that. Like they were there.
I think sometimes there's a page on them that's like, oh, don't, if you like go to a page that you can't actually go to, it's like, you're cheating, stop it, or something, or like say something bad.
Yeah,
happens.
it has
Yeah.
lots of fun stuff, and like you can like get yourself caught in a loop of making the same choice over.
I
and
believe
over
we
again
read
and stuff
every
like
page
that.
in this book.
We did.
Yeah, we did. This is nothing like that,
Yeah.
and no branching paths. Just you either die or you keep going.
Well, you guys
It's
are
like a
gonna love the
very
next
poorly
one.
written
then.
game.
I enjoyed this. I thought like it was not well done, but it was enjoyable. Choose Your Own Adventure was cool, and I liked that it was Animorphs. Like because Be Natural was reading most of it, I like stopped paying attention a lot of the time, and I started
I
checking
did
messages
too.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was.
I tried to read it interestingly.
Yeah, no, I would say 95% of it I was paying attention, complete attention. But yeah, I think this book's a cool idea, and I had fun, so thumbs up.
Sure. Yeah, it was fun.
I don't. It
I
wasn't.
had fun.
Would
I
read
know
again.
Melvin is a lame doofus that dies 40
Melvin is
times.
such an idiot, yeah. And all the Animorphs are like actively trying to kill him.
Okay, I think that's
Beautiful.
mostly just us interpreting things weirdly, but
no,
it sure
that's
does.
not canon, but that's what
The
it sounds
choices
like.
we made were not bad, but then Melvin proceeds to do the dumbest thing possible within each of the choices.
Exactly, yeah.
And when he lives, it's just because of pure luck.
I think I have fun editing this because I think I just got cut
Melvin
out the
wins
reading
by doing
and
nothing,
stuff.
basically.
Melvin wins by doing nothing.
Are we gonna read a joke?
Yeah, we are.
Melvin
Joke.
would main Luigi in Smash.
I assume we have nothing else to say. We kind of said, we talked about it. This was a fun episode format, I think. I'm glad we did this. Anyway.
This was Be Natural's idea. I think
It
we should all
was.
applaud her for that.
No, I would absolutely not have thought to do it in person at all. I was assuming we would do it separately and not do all the
But
decisions.
if we had done it separately, it would have worked better than I was anticipating. I will say that. Because
Yeah, 'cause it's just
there's
one
literally
plot
just one
and just,
story.
yeah. Oh, did you not know about that?
No.
Be Natural has told me that.
I thought there was branching paths. That's why I assumed
Yeah.
we wouldn't be reading the whole book.
Yeah, no, Be Natural has, I was like, oh, I'm excited for that. Be Natural was like, dude, like, you just die immediately. It sucks. Like, he told that to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, it sucks that I keep telling you guys Animorphs things and then forget that I told you. And then I'm like, ooh, I can't wait for them to find out. I hope I didn't, accidentally tell you all the ending or something at some point.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if you told Bad at some point, but I don't know about it.
I don't remember if you did.
Okay.
So.
Joke?
Sign out.
Nothing else to say about this.
I'm Be
I'm
Natural.
I'm better.
mustard.
I'm stir.
I'm mustard.
I'm
We're
better.
not doing this. Alright. Joke time.
It's a great idea.
It's
Man,
not a
this
good
is,
idea.
this is the first time
It's a
we
bad
recorded 2
idea.
episodes in one day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's the next day because it passed midnight, but that was
Well,
fun.
we started it before midnight.
That was hype that we did that.
Anyway.
Joke.
Yeah, joke. I was surprised under 3 hours too. That was like a normal episode length. But by the time I cut it down,
Yeah.
Last one was Sid. Who's the? Oh, knock knock.
Who's there?
Amy.
Amy Rose.
No.
Amy's in the attic.
No.
A pencil for my test.
No.
Amy from Doctor Who.
No.
Amy Sedaris.
You guys, it's a knock knock joke, so it's like uses it in like a
Guys, it's
funny
not just
way.
trying to name Amy's. Mon ami. Mon ami, please pass
None
me
of
the
you are like
ruler.
close at all. Like if someone gets like close, then I'll.
Where does the king keep his Amy's?
A meal for me would be good. Thank you.
Amy. Yeah, I don't want Amy.
Amy, your pee towards the toilet next time, please.
Ew.
Towards it.
Just towards it. You always put it away from it. As long as it's in the general direction, then I'll be happy. At least you'll be
At least you
improving.
tried, yeah.
How low the standards. Can someone draw fan art of the Animorphs where Melvin is just constantly screwing up at everything and they're just
Well, it has to be you, so draw it as you. Whoever the person
I'm not
drawing
drawing
is.
Melvin not being competent enough to pee in a toilet, sorry.
not that. That was
Actually, Melvin from Animorphs.
Oh yeah, we do know what he looks like.
Oh yeah, we do, yeah.
Amy Frey to look at my report card. You leap up on the ottoman and twinkle across the back of the sofa. Being a ferret is fun. It wasn't hard to get them off. You waited until Miss Humphreys went next door to complain. She left air back door E-H? How do you mess that up?
Yeah, but with the T.
Back door open, and it was easy to slip inside and pick up one of the sleek furry features. Okay. Grab the sleek furry penis.
readable.
It happily curled back up next to your chest while you acquired its DNA. You shrank rapidly, your body turning sleek and supple.
Uh-oh.
You grew
Becoming a
fur and
supple
whiskers and tiny claws. As soon as you morphed, you wanted to play with the 3 other ferrets. Okay, so there are multiple. They were confused to see you, but they came over to sniff you and then came on you
Stop!
and then chased you around the room. The back door slams. You slam.
Stop!
Miss Humphrey slumps back in, a ferret draped across her chest.
Mustard is never gonna be able to handle this book.